Now again, live from the RNN Broadcast Center, more News Center Now, Long Island.
Welcome back as we wait for the returns to come in. I want to bring in now Bernard Whitman, former pollster for President Bill Clinton, to talk about what the results may mean in the larger picture. And Bernard, do you have in your head what that line is going to be for Hillary? Does she need to win Ohio and Texas? We heard Bill Clinton earlier say she needs to win both. Now it's changing a little bit. Does she need to win at least one big state, both? What do you think here to keep those superdelegates to at least sit on the fence a little longer?
Well, I think she's got to win at least one. And it's pretty clear, of course, we've had a lot of surprises, Richard, in this cycle. But from the looks of the polling, it seems that Obama will, in fact, capture Texas. And I think Clinton's last best hope is to hold on in Ohio. And the early exit polls show her doing fairly well, holding her own across most groups. And so I think, frankly, a razor-thin victory out of Ohio will give enough life to her campaign that she will go on to fight another day, or in this case, 7 more weeks.
Now, help me with the end game, because you're wired on the Democratic side, Bernard. I believe that these superdelegates, many of them, there's no fealty to the Clintons anymore, certainly not enough that they're going to risk any political reprisals to keep staying with them. Why won't a lot jump ship tomorrow if, in fact, she loses Texas? Nobody wants to be the last one standing with the political loser at the end of this. So even if she wants to go on to Pennsylvania and keep on fighting, why do superdelegates, why is it in their best interest if they do the math, they say, you know, she's got 10% chance of winning. What am I doing here? Let me get on the winning ship.
Well, you know, Hillary and Bill Clinton have been in this game an awfully long time. And I think that a lot of it is going to depend on how Hillary positions her win, if she in fact does win, out of Ohio. And I think the most positive spin that she could make is, here you've got a state where the economy is really hurting, where people are really suffering, and where if she can pull out a victory and keeping some of her key demographics, looking forward to Pennsylvania, that state is very similarly made up. So I think the push is going to be, we did it in Ohio, we can do it in Pennsylvania, we don't know where this is going to go, and you don't want to be seen flipping and flopping.
Don't you know where it's going to go, though? And I ask that because you look at the rest of the primary map, with the exception of Pennsylvania. You got a lot of big sky states. You also have, like, North Carolinas of the world. No huge states remaining. And let's, for the moment, leave Michigan and Florida as dead for the moment. Short of bringing back those ghost delegates, Bernard, I can't see a scenario where she makes major inroads. Assume the Resco thing, there's really nothing to it. Maybe bad judgment, but no criminality. Give me any scenario where she could have a major comeback to make this thing even close when it gets to Denver.
Well, I think it's going to be very tough, quite frankly. And my big concern, Richard, actually, is what happens between now and Pennsylvania. Assuming she does win Ohio, she does stay in, she does go on to fight in Pennsylvania, what happens over the course of these 7 weeks? You know, we've heard a lot of talk about how divisive this primary has been, mostly from the Republicans talking about the divisive Democratic primary, and I don't really think that's been the case. We have a situation where 3 and 4 Democrats say, you know, we'd be satisfied with either candidate. And I think one reason Hillary's been able to come back in Ohio is she's really sharpened her attack. And the only way to make up a lot of ground and keep her lead in Pennsylvania, and therefore keep a message to the superdelegates that they ought to stay in this, is to continue sharpening her attack against Obama.
And she's got to even get rougher. And let me ask you, Bernard, as somebody who knows the Clintons, I know Hillary a little bit, but you know the former president, are they concerned, do they have a concern when this is over? Odds are they're not going to win. Are they personas non grata in the party? Does that matter to them? If she's not going to take the VP if it was even offered and she doesn't plan to run again, do they care? What's your sense about them and the people closest to them? What kind of advice they'd give if they lose Texas tonight and the rest of the map doesn't look good?
Well, look, the truth of the matter is, if Obama is the nominee, I think you're going to see the Clintons come out and campaign very hard in favor of Obama and the Democratic ticket. I mean, let's not forget, Hillary Clinton, should she stay in the Senate with Obama in the White House, has a very bright political future and a very significant legacy to think about, as does her husband. And so I think the idea that somehow this somewhat bruising primary fight at the end is going to make them persona non grata the Democratic Party. There is an awful lot of love left still for the Clintons. And
I think it's all going to depend, though, Bernard, how long they stay in, and once it looks futile, how long they keep fighting and how hard they fight against Obama. But we shall see. Bernard, good stuff. I appreciate a few minutes. Thank you.
Thanks so much.